有时候我有进退两难，可是我正式的知道，that's Chinese for sometimes I have a dilemma, but I often know. 有时候我有进退两难. Sometimes I have a dilemma. 可是 however, 我总是 I and 总是 that I'm thinking of is often means often or it means always. And I don't want it all to get confused because sometimes you get confused with similar words when you're learning a different language. Oh, you wouldn't want to see me when I'm hungry. Ah, ah. I angry. But the point is, 我有进退两难，可是有时候 I mixed it all up. What I mean to say is I often know. I don't mean to say I always know. You still here? Yo时候我有进退两难，可是我总是知道 I often know. What I am about to tell you is something you're not going to want to hear. If you've seen enough about me and you believe that I actually have been to the places that I have, which confuses me, I always say to people when they say, bullshit, that didn't happen. I'm like, you think if I had the ability to make this stuff up, I wouldn't be a critically acclaimed author by now? This stuff just doesn't happen. It does. And so what I experienced, and for years I've been telling people, they're all worried about the Chinese coming. And even the megalomaniacs seem to take a moment of respect or consideration or something when I'm sitting in a garage surrounded by them and I'm talking about being in China and I'm speaking in Chinese, and they're like, they find this, even though they decided long ago they're never going to step outside of their structure, they're still finding curiosity in the idea that somebody has been there. And I talk to people, I try to explain because I'm a regular guy. As close as it gets, closer than I've ever been. I'm a regular guy. I'm not a politician. I'm not political. I'm in the middle and I'm watching things and deciding what's going to be best for me when this comes around. I am not an altruist. I don't need people going crazy all around me. So I have explained to people through the years and through my travels, when they're looking at me and they have the ability to actually listen simply based on their curiosity, I tell them it's not the people, it's the government. And they're like, yeah. You know, the government is a bloodless entity, but it feeds off our blood. Everywhere I've ever been, I've been in China, I've been in Iraq, I've been in Western Bloc countries, I've been held in custody in the Ukraine as a spy. You sply, you sply. And I got money in my pocket, in my sock, and I'm saying, I'm not a sply. I just want it. And the people around you are going, we're calling the embassy. And I turn around and tell the people around you, you shut the fuck up. I'm not going back to the U.S. I'm here for a reason. And people believe me, the government, and they let us loose and everything's okay. All the people are nice. Even the mafia bosses in the park where we were sleeping in the mud gave us our distance and respected us for whatever reason. I mean, if you don't believe that, then you don't believe me, because I'm still here. I don't know about that one guy. He's probably in prison. And the other guy, well, he doesn't answer my calls anymore. It happens a lot. What I saw, especially living in China, coming back to the United States and suffering culture shock for the first time in my life. Of all the places I've ever been, I walk in and everything's fine. I came back to the U.S. after China the first time, and I said, you people are out of your fucking mind, just rage. This may be the only country I'm wrong about, where I say it's the government that's the problem and not the people. Because in China, you act like China is coming after you. The people I lived with in many, many caste systems in China, they're the nicest people you ever meet. And if you mention something that the government doesn't want them to hear, want to hear you say, because you feel like I'm a Westerner, I can get away with it, they get really quiet and they go, But what this tells me, the way that poor guy is trying to turn the Chinese against us as a people, so we have someone new to fear, they're at least recognizable. We've been acting like they're our enemy for years. That poor guy puts China on you like the whole goddamn Chinese population is against you. It's not. There's a little deal they got going on where they act like the Chinese government's pissed off at us. The people in China, I mean, I drank one night. There was a guy that owned a whorehouse. It turned out it was a whorehouse we were drinking in. They had karaoke, and he had been a Chinese sniper. And he taught me the word Gaoxin, Gaoxin. He kept walking around. I can't slap my chest because I might hit the microphone. It goes pop, 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 pop. Yeah. He was a sniper for the Chinese military, and he was Gaoxin. Gao meaning high. Xin meaning heart. High heart. He was happy, happy, happy to know me because Jimmy had told him that I'd been in the military in the Americas. They love American soldiers. You fucking American soldiers want to start fighting the Chinese, you're making a mistake. They love you. They see you as powerful. They want to be your friend. That was even the military, two people. But in the whole populace, everybody in the Chinese world, and they're not doing as bad as they want us to think they are. Him wants us to think they are. Even old people can afford ice cream. That's pretty good, right? I mean, sure, you're going to start spending the kids' inheritance at the end of your life, but still, when have old people been eating ice cream? You look at an old person eating ice cream, it means he's spending his kids' inheritance, unless he's never been able to have ice cream before and he just keeps doing it. The Chinese people appreciate the United States citizens. Sometimes by mistake, they appreciate United States altogether. The same way we accuse China of all being an asshole. It's this bloodless entity. It's the government that's creating the problems for the slaves. And really, if we don't start accepting ourselves as slaves and standing up with each other, I suppose, we're going to be slaves like those you heard about in the 1800's.